God Bible study class, and where we teach the Bible by subject and title. And here our interpretation is expressly prohibited. We read directly out the scriptures. And to my right is my esteemed brother and colleague, Brother Janez. How you doing today? Okay, so today we are going to get started with today's lesson. And I'm actually having to read definitions for us also. The name of today's lesson is Pure Intentions and Ulterior Motives. The lesson is Pure Intentions and Ulterior Motives. Why do we want to hit a lesson like this? Because all throughout the Bible, even though we may not see certain words said verbatim, we understand exactly what this is just by the way we live our lives today and the challenges we went through today. So we're going to walk this down, pure intentions and ulterior motives. But before we get started hitting the scriptures, we need to walk down some definitions so that everyone is on the same playing field with the definitions. So Brother Janez, can you walk down the definition of pure?
Pure, unmodified by admixture, simple or homogeneous.
Right, unmodified, nothing added to it. Go ahead.
Clear, free from blemishes.
Right, no blemishes. Go ahead.
Without any discordant quality.
Right.
Clear and true.
Right, clear and true. Something that's pure has to be clear and true. Go ahead.
Absolute. Utter sheer.
Utter sheer clearness. Go ahead.
Being that and nothing else.
So being that, when someone has pure intentions, is being that and nothing else. Go ahead.
Mere. Clean, spotless, unsullied.
Right.
Untainted with evil, innocent.
That is the main item we want to hit on, is untainted with evil or is innocent. But go ahead and let's hit the next definition, because if I broke down pure, we now have to break down what ulterior motive is. Before we go to ulterior motive, we have to know what a motive is. So read the definition for motive.
Motive. Something that causes a person to act in a certain way.
Right. In other words, motive is the root word of motivation. What motivates you to do something? Go ahead.
Do a certain thing, etc. Incentive.
Right, or an incentive. Go ahead.
The goal or objective of a person's action.
The goal or objective. We all have goals and objectives. We all have motives. Nothing wrong with motives. But we're trying to highlight on this other type of motive, which is ulterior. Please break down and read the definition for ulterior. Go ahead.
Ulterior. Bringing beyond what is seen and avowed or avowed.
Right. Something beyond what is seen or something beyond what is avowed. Go ahead.
Initially kept concealed.
Something that's initially kept concealed. Eventually it reveals itself, but initially kept what? Concealed. Go ahead.
Coming at a subsequent time.
Coming at a subsequent, there's a certain time it's going to come out. Go ahead.
Or stage. Future. Further.
Right.
Lying beyond or outside of some specified or understood boundaries.
So there are certain understood boundaries, but it's letting you know that if it's ulterior, it's something beyond that understood boundary. Something that you don't readily see. Go ahead.
More remote.
More remote. Go ahead. Now, just use ulterior motive, what it actually fully means. Together. Go ahead. Because we broke down motive, we broke down ulterior. Now just put them both together. Go ahead.
If you say that someone has an ulterior motive for doing something,
right,
you believe that they have a hidden reason.
That they have a what?
Hidden reason.
A hidden reason. Go ahead.
For doing it.
For doing it. Go ahead. Did I see that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Oh, actually, that's my page right there. The second to last one. Perfect. So, some synonyms, which means items that are just like that word for ulterior motive, are ambitions, aspirations, desires, determination, direction, functions, goals, intent, objectives, plans, reasons, schemes, targets, animus, calculations, design, destination, expectation, basis, cause, impetus, incentive, motivation, purpose, mission, occasion, or premeditation. Y'all understand all those words? These are all in the same family, right? So now we go to the Bible and readily identify these concepts, right? Let's get it started. Let's go ahead and get it started at 1 Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. And then once again, the name of the lesson is Pure Intentions and Ulterior Motives. I can hear every page turning right about now. Corinthians chapter 12 and pick it up at verse 8. And when you get there, let's go ahead and read.
For to one is given my spirit, not the spirit, of the word of wisdom. To another, the word of knowledge by the same spirit.
So everyone's given something, right? Someone's given one thing, someone's given another thing. Go ahead.
To another, faith by the same spirit.
Right, some people have a little bit more faith than others. Go ahead.
To another, the gifts of healing by the same spirit.
Right, that's why we have people that come to the elders and they anoint them, because that's another way of healing. But there's healing that comes that way. There's healing as far as what's going on in your mind, but that you get healed by the scriptures. Go ahead.
To another, the working of miracles. To another, prophecy.
So someone's real good at breaking down prophecies or prophetic actions you see in the Old Testament. Go ahead.
To another, discerning of spirits.
Oh, but to another, a what?
Discerning of spirits.
So there's even within the church someone that can discern different spirits or different ambitions or intentions within the church. Go ahead.
To another, diverse kinds of tongues.
You got some people that speak diverse or many languages. Go ahead.
To another, the interpretation of tongues.
There's other people that can interpret tongues. We have one in here that can actually speak Korean. But that's exactly what the book is. It's just letting you know that so there's people that can speak and understand different languages. Go ahead.
But all these work that one and all and the self-same spirit.
Now this is the thing. It says these all work all in the self-same spirit. All these people have these different gifts and abilities that's supposed to contribute to the same spirit. How can you contribute or bring your contribution to the same spirit if you don't come to Sabbath class? Where's your contribution that the Lord has given you? Why are you withholding from the body? Go ahead.
Dividing to every man severally as he will.
As who will?
As he will.
As God chooses to divide these abilities to everyone, he's the one that chooses to put that out on the table. But when everyone comes together, it's the same spirit. It contributes to the same family or the same body. Amen?
Amen.
All right, perfect. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of these intentions. Let's pick it up at 2 Samuel chapter 3. 2 Samuel chapter 3. So we're going to use the discerning of spirits today. 2 Samuel chapter 3. Because in many cases, you know, on your job, you understand that sometimes everyone doesn't have your best interests at hand. That's why you have to be careful when you hit the reply all button, right? Someone get that message, you know, it's going to be a problem. Certain times you can't always let it be known that you're trying to, try to get a promotion because someone may not like your ambition. That you actually want to get promoted in the job. That you actually want to, continue to feed your family, or have some extra spending changes. But the Lord's the one that gives promotions anyway, so it don't matter. So let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 3 and pick up at verse 18. 2 Samuel 3 and verse 18. When you get there, go ahead and read.
Now then, do it. For the Lord hath spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel.
Right. So David's going to end up helping the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Out of the hand of the Philistines.
Right.
And out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner.
Now who's Abner? Abner is one of Saul's captains. So David has his captain, which is Joab. Saul has his captain, which is Abner. So this is between Abner and what he's putting out there. Abner also spake in the ears of Benjamin. Go ahead.
Also spake into the ears of Benjamin. And Abner went also to speak in the ears of David in Hebron.
Right.
All that seemed good to Israel.
Because Saul's family was of Benjamin. So he's letting the children of Benjamin know, hey, this is about to go through David. Then he turns around and says the same thing to David. Go ahead.
And that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin.
And it seemed good. Go ahead.
So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast.
Right. Go ahead.
And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and I will gather all Israel unto my Lord, the king.
Right, because David wasn't solidified as the king over all the 12 tribes of Israel under united monarchy. So at this point, you're seeing the back and forth between the tribe of Benjamin and between the tribe of Judah. In other words, between Saul and his line and David and his line. But he started to say, you know what, I'm going to help turn all the house of Benjamin over to you, David. Go ahead.
That they may make a league with thee.
Right, that they may make a league with you. Go ahead.
And that and that thou mayest reign over all thine heart desire.
Right, that you may reign, go ahead.
And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace.
Right, so that's because he sent him away in peace, right? They think that they should be having this East Coast, West Coast battle, but it's just not, I'm sending you away in peace, we on the same accord. Go ahead.
And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop.
Actually, jump down to verse 23.
23?
Yep.
When Joab and all the host that was with him were come.
So Joab, like I said, this is David's captain. He came in the scene, go ahead.
They told Joab, saying, Abner, the son of Ner, came to the king.
Right.
And he hath sent him away. And he is gone in peace.
And he's gone in peace. Go ahead.
Then Joab came to the king and said, what hast thou done?
Right. So now Joab like, hold up. You sent him away in peace? We was going to war with him. You gonna send him away in peace? He's like, oh, I would have did something about that situation. But he's coming in not realizing all the facts. But go ahead.
Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away? He is quite done. Quite gone.
Right. Hit verse 27.
And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly.
Well, so it seemed like he went to go speak to him quietly. In other words, I'm catching up with you. Hey, Abner, because he Joab just got to speak to David about why he didn't do nothing to Abner. Now Joab gonna take it upon himself. Well, I'm gonna go holler at Abner. I'm gonna go speak to him quietly. Go ahead.
And smoke him under the fifth rib.
But what did he do? What did they say today? He's a shaker. Under the fifth rib, right? Go ahead.
And he died of the blood of Asahel, his brother.
Right, because Joab remembered that it was Abner that killed his brother Asahel, because his brother Asahel was light as foot as a rock. He was real quick. He called with Abner, but Joab remembered, you killed my brother. Let's go ahead and jump down to verse 33. Can y'all close that door, please? Verse 33.
And the king lamented over Abner and said,
but the king did what? He lamented over Abner. Go ahead.
Died Abner as a fool died?
Right, he just died like a fool died, but he was in league with him. He understood. They were on the same page. They were at accord. They were at peace. So now he's crying over Abner being killed by his own captain. Go ahead.
My hands were not bound.
Right, the fool died. Jump down to verse 35.
And when all the people came to cause David.
Right. In other words, all the people understood what just happened overall, but they still were lacking some understanding. So it says, and when all the people came to cause David to eat, go ahead.
To eat meat while it was yet day. David sware, saying, so do God to me, and more else also, if I taste bread or aught else, till the sun be down.
Right, in other words, everyone's eating food, and he said, God do more to me also if I taste food. In other words, he's lamenting or he's fasting for the death of Abner, who they thought was his enemy. Because they thought that, David put him up to it. That's must have what had happened. Go ahead, keep going.
And all the people took notice of it.
And all the people did what? They took notice of it. Go ahead.
And it pleased them. As whatsoever the king did please all the people.
Right, because they got some understanding now. Go ahead.
For all the people and all Israel understood that day.
Now all the people and all Israel understood that day. Go ahead.
That it was not of the king to slay Abner, the son of Ner.
That it was of David that conspired to have Abner killed. But they didn't realize that until they observed and watched his actions. His actions showed the pureness of his intentions of his heart. That he wasn't the one that he sent him away in peace, and when he sends the person away in peace and he turns up being killed by his own person, he's like, I'm not even going to taste this food to the end of the night, pretty much. But he's just showing that his intention was righteous and his intentions were what? Pure, right? Y'all see that? So in other words, one of the ways that you continue to discern the spirit, to discern how people's intentions are, you just sit back and observe to get what? Information. Let's keep going. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 4 and pick it up at verse 5. 2 Samuel chapter 4 and pick up at verse 5. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And the sons of Rimmon and
the Beerothite.
Rechab
yep.
and Baanah went and came about the heat of the day to the house of Ishbosheth.
Ishbosheth. This is one of the sons of Saul, not Solomon, of Saul. One of Saul's sons. Go ahead.
Who lay on the bed at noon.
So he's laying down in his bed, right? Go ahead.
And they came thither into the midst of the house, as though they would have fetched wheat. And they smote him under the fifth rib.
But these individuals that are trying to act like that they side with David also, they turn around and shed the blood of Ishbosheth under the fifth rib again, right? Go ahead.
And Rechab and Baanah, his brother, escaped.
Go ahead.
For when they came into the house, he lay on his bed in his bed chamber. And they smote him,
right?
Slew him,
right?
And beheaded him.
So they slew him, and then they cut his head off. Go ahead.
And took his head and got him away through the plain all night.
Right, go ahead.
And they brought the head to Ishbosheth unto David to Hebron, and said unto the king,
right. So they say unto the king, they bring in the head of Ishbosheth unto David. In other words, look at what we just did for you. But they don't understand where David's heart was. Go ahead.
Behold, the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, thine enemy.
So they're doing something that he did not ask them to do. They're holding the head of Ishbosheth. Behold, the head of Ishbosheth, thine enemy. Go ahead.
Which sought thy life.
Which sought thy life. Go ahead.
And the Lord hath avenged my lord the king this day of Saul and of his seed.
And of his seed. Go ahead.
And David answered Rechab and Baanah, his brother, and the sons of Rimmon.
In other words, when you are really trying to serve God, you don't need anyone to play dirty to get an advantage, because you know the Lord is going to really fight your battles. So when that's the case, you just sit back and say, did you think I needed you to do this? In other words, I got the Lord God of Israel on my side. I don't need you to do anything petty. So you need to get petty when you really have the Lord God of Israel on your side. Go ahead.
The sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said unto them,
right?
As the Lord liveth.
As the Lord liveth. Who's he giving credit to? The Lord. Go ahead.
Who have redeemed my soul out of all adversity.
Now, he didn't just say, oh my goodness, thank you for helping me in this one particular situation. He said, the Lord who has redeemed me out of all adversity. In other words, this one little thing is nothing compared to everything that he's been leading through all this time. That's a testimony to the Lord God of Israel. Go ahead.
When one told me, saying...
So he's going to give an example. When one told me, saying, go ahead.
Behold, Saul is dead.
Well, behold, Saul is dead,
Thinking to have brought good tidings.
Thinking that he's bringing some good news to me. Go ahead.
I took hold of him.
I took hold of him. Go ahead.
And slew him in Ziklag.
Right, because that one guy said, I'm of the Amalekites, and I just so happened to see Saul. He was falling on the sword, and he had no more life in him. I just came and just finished them all. And he thinks he's going to get a reward for coming and telling David that. He said, you don't know what I made of him, if you think that's how I get down. Go ahead.
Who thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings.
Right, go ahead.
How much more when wicked men have slain righteous persons in his own house?
So what did he just call Ishbosheth? He's called Ishbosheth a righteous person. How much more when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house? Well, isn't it interesting that David was had some when Saul sent his servants to go try to take David out, he had to make up an image in the bed to make it seem like he was in his bed, and they were trying to come kill him while he was asleep, but he's not trying to return the favor. Go ahead.
Upon his bed. Shall I not therefore now require his blood of your hand and take you away from the earth?
Now I gotta take you out, because you didn't understand what this was about. Go ahead.
And David commanded his young men, and they slew them and cut off their hands and their feet.
So he cut off their hands and their feet, because they was running to wickedness to kill an innocent person, and their hands was committed wickedness to kill an innocent person. Go ahead.
And hang them up over the pool in Hebron.
And then I use them for an example. Go ahead.
But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron.
And they gave the head a proper burial, because these dudes were wicked. But they didn't understand that King David was on a different page. In other words, guess what? To discern that understanding, you have to understand that the behavior reveals their intentions. So after their so-called enemies defeated, look at how he behaved himself. That told you that he was not worried about exalting himself. The Lord God was handling everything. So his intentions, yet again, were what? Pure. Y'all with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, so see what we're doing, we're walking down stories to see the concepts that we kind of understand today, but they're embedded all over the scriptures. I'm just bringing it out and letting you see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and go to 2 Samuel chapter 10. 2 Samuel chapter 10. Because when you want to obtain anything the Lord has for you, you don't need to do wickedness to get them.
Right.
You don't need to do it. You don't need anyone to do it on your behalf either. That's why I don't need anyone cutting my grass on the Sabbath day. It's going to get cut. I don't need anyone to come clean my house on the Sabbath day. I clean it myself if it takes any other day of the week. Because my intentions are trying to be pure with God.
Right.
And that's what we all trying to do. 2 Samuel chapter 10, pick up at verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And it came to pass after this, that the king of the children of Ammon died.
So the king of the Ammonites died. Go ahead.
And Hanun, his son, reigned.
So the son of that king of the Ammonites reigned in his stead. Go ahead.
Then said David, I will show kindness unto Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me.
So now, he is remembering when he was in some circumstances that wasn't always favorable, and he remembered who showed him kindness in that circumstance. So now that he is in position, is he going and ruling with the iron fist? He's saying, no, I'm going to show kindness unto the descendants of the people that show kindness unto me. In other words, he is remembering his situation and yet again showing that his intentions are pure. Go ahead.
And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father.
Because his father passed, so he's sending some victuals, he's sending things to comfort him. Go ahead.
And David's servant came unto the land of the children of Ammon.
So he sent his servants unto the land, unto the Ammonites. Go ahead.
And the prince of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun.
Right, hold it right there. Everything was all good until these princes had something to say on the matter. Everything was good. It was a show of comfort, just like if you have, a colleague or a loved one, or anyone that passes away, you send them a card or some flowers. You are showing your condolences, right? This is him showing his condolences and showing his thankfulness for what his father did. Go ahead.
Hanun, their lord.
Okay, so now the prince of the children of Ammonites. Go ahead.
Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father?
So they the first ones, huh? You think David comes and honor you and your father? Go ahead. You know these people because everything's all good until this ends the conversation. Go ahead.
That he hath sent comforters unto thee?
Oh, he done sent comforters unto you? Like you mocking this good gesture? Go ahead.
Have not David rather sent his servants unto thee?
In other words, I bet you this is what they really up to. They come to spy out the land. Go ahead.
To search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it.
Right. In other words, something good, you can't even receive it because Satan's always in your ear by way of another person. Go ahead.
Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks. And sent them away.
They gonna cut their clothes off. They gonna say what happened. In other words, they ain't gonna show. They're showing their non-appreciation for a good gesture. Go ahead.
And sent them away.
Go ahead. What verse are you at?
I'm at 5.
Okay, keep going.
When they told it to David, unto David,
right?
He sent to meet them because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry in Jericho until your beards be grown.
Right.
And
He said, just hang out over here until you get yourself together. But go ahead. Verse 6.
And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David.
That they what?
Stank before David.
In other words, now there's something wrong with y'all. That y'all are not giving a sweet savor. So y'all stank before me, and he's not going to deal with them. Go ahead.
The children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-Rehob and the Syrians of Zobah. So now you can go hire the Syrians, right? In other words, it was just between me and you, and it was a good gesture. But now, because someone did say, I bet you this is what he up to, now you got to go and hire out these other people. In other words, now it's going to something that it shouldn't have been in the first place. The situation has went beyond what it was supposed to be. Go ahead. 20,000 footmen. Now 20,000 footmen coming in. Go ahead. And the king of Macon, of 1,000 men, and of Ishtoel, 12,000 men. Go ahead. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab. So he heard that they, they bucking up against a good gesture. Go ahead. And all the host of the mighty men. So he sends his army, Joab and all the mighty men. Go ahead, finish out 7. Or that's in the 7? Yeah. Okay, jump to verse 13. And Joab drew nigh, and the people that were with him unto the battle against the Syrians,
Right.
and they fled before him.
So in other words, these people that were just hired out, now they're getting their head bust to the white meat. In other words, they suffering for jumping into a situation that had nothing to do with them. Jump to verse 15.
And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together.
Jump to verse 17. I'm trying to hit the quick point. 17.
And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him.
Hit verse 18.
And the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians.
Right. In other words, David is showing you that he did not start this, but he is willing to finish it. He showed up, or an ambassador, as the book says, showed up before him to show good favor. And when they turn around and treat him, any kind of way, he's showing that meekness is not weakness. Right. Please don't mistake that, especially if it's a servant of God. Meekness is definitely not weakness. Go ahead.
And 40,000 horsemen and smote Shabbat, the captain of their host, who died there.
Right, and if the counsel was not taken from those wicked servants, everyone would have been at peace. But now look at all these people that are dying just from the wicked counsel that was received. Let's go ahead and jump to Proverbs 16 real quick. Because one thing they don't understand, especially with the servant of God, is this verse. Proverbs 16, verse 7. When you get there, go ahead and read.
When a man's ways please the Lord.
Now, it's not just anybody. When a man's ways please the Lord, go ahead.
He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Oh, now all of a sudden they want to be at peace. Or now all of a sudden they don't want to fight no more. Or they backing off. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. They think, no, you're just speaking so kindly that they just, respond to you in that manner, not in all cases. But in some cases, they're still gonna come against you. But when your ways please the Lord, you don't have to worry about it because your enemy's gonna be at peace with you. Just like we saw with Genesis 14 with Abraham. All these people he's fighting against, but guess what? The king of Salem, or the king of peace, that's what Salem means, shalom, came and blessed him and said that Lord had delivered them into your hand because his enemy's now at peace with him. They ain't fight with Abraham after that time, are they? Because when a man's ways please the Lord, this is what you can expect. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Let's go to Ecclesiastes verse 5 and understand why you got to be careful of the counsel you receive. Ecclesiastes verse 5. Chapter 5. Thank you. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. And we're going to pick it up and hit one verse 2. That's why you have to be careful, because just because everyone's saying something doesn't always mean it's right. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 2, when you get there, go ahead and read.
Be not rash with thy mouth.
Right.
And let thine heart be hasty to utter.
Right. In other words, don't be so quick to say something. Go ahead.
Anything before God. For God is in heaven. And thou upon earth.
Right. In other words, you can't even give a bunch of hearsay when you don't know all the facts. The Lord's the one in the heaven that sees everything that man is doing. How can you turn around and give your opinion in this case? Is that the end of verse 2?
No.
Finish it up.
Therefore, let thy words be few.
That's the best thing you can do, is let your words be few, because you're going to be judged on every single word that comes out your mouth. Whether it's against any of this paganism like Christmas or whatever, or if it's against your own brother. Now let's go to Proverbs 17. Proverbs 17. Because one thing that we're seeing right here is that we have to be careful in discerning situations that you take hearsay or gossip and proclaim that as truth. Proverbs 17 and verse 4. When you get there, go ahead and read.
A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips.
Now see, that's what the problem is. There's always going to be false lips around here until the Lord comes, or until the end of the millennium period, or Jesus' 1,000-year millennium reign. However, a wicked doer is going to take heed to that. Go ahead.
And a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue.
And a liar is going to give ear to what?
A naughty tongue.
That's how gossip starts. That's how hearsay starts. Someone that wants to believe it, or they'll say, oh yeah, I bet that is the case. I bet. And then you pass on to this person, and this person. But when that stuff hits a wise man ears, it's going to stop. or it's deceased, because you are not going to take any counsel or any words beyond where it's supposed to go if it's not verified. So be careful of that, especially when there is no concrete proof of taking hearsay gossip as truth. Now let's go ahead and deal with some pure intentions. At least it starts out that way. Let's go to 2 Samuel 6. 2 Samuel chapter 6. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Because it's one thing to have pure intentions, but it still requires knowledge with it. 2 Samuel chapter 6, and when you get there, pick it up at verse 1, go ahead and read.
Again, David gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000.
Right.
And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baal of Judah to bring up from thence the ark of God.
So they're going to obtain the ark again. Go ahead.
Whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, that dwelleth between the cherubims. And they set the ark of God upon a new cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab that was in Gibeah. Gibeah.
Yep.
And Uzzah and Ahio and the sons of Abinadab drave the new cart.
So these are some of the people that's rolling with David, because they're going to so-called rescue the Ark of the Covenant. But here, verse 4.
And they brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was in Gibeah, accompanying the ark of God. And Ahio went before the ark.
Go ahead.
And David and all the house of Israel played before the Lord on all manner of instruments made of fir wood.
Right. In other words, they are playing instruments, or what we call music. They are having a good time. It's looked at as a joyous occasion. We're doing the right thing. We're doing it for the Lord. We are rejoicing in the Lord. Go ahead.
Even on harps, and on psalteries, and on timbrels, and on cornets,
right,
and on cymbals.
Right. All these instruments. Go ahead.
And when they came to Nachon's threshing floor,
right,
Uzzah.
So when they got to the particular location, Uzzah, go ahead,
put forth his hand to the ark of God, and took hold of it, and the oxen shook it.
Right. In other words, he does not want the ark to fall. He is using good or pure intentions to stop the ark from falling. However, pure intentions still requires knowledge with all that zeal. Go ahead and I'll show you why. In verse 7.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah.
Well, why is the anger of the Lord kindled against someone that's meaning well? Go ahead.
And God smote him there for his error.
Because it was still an error. Go ahead.
And there he died by the ark of God.
So this individual died that meant well. Because your pure intentions still have to be coupled with knowledge. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 15 and pick this story up to see, well, what in the world happened? What was missing from this occasion that caused death to now break out on people? In fact, they left the cart there. They said, look, we need to figure out what's going on, because it said that David feared the Lord and figured out, how shall I bring the ark unto me? He was trying to figure this thing out. 1 Chronicles 15, and pick it up at verse 11. But when he went into the house of God and got some understanding, let's say further understanding, he understood where the ball was dropped. 1 Chronicles 15, pick up that verse 11. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And David called Zadok and Abiathar, the priests.
Abiathar, the priest, go ahead.
And for the Levites, and Uriel, Asaiah, and Joel, Shemaiah, Aliel, and Abinadab.
Right. In other words, he's calling for the priests now. Go ahead. He's calling for Zadok, Abiathar, Abiathar, Uriel, Asaiah, Joel, Shemaiah, and Eliel, and Aminadab. Go ahead.
And said unto them, ye are the chief of the fathers of the Levites.
In other words, you are the ones in charge. You are the chief of the fathers of the Levites. Go ahead.
Sanctify yourselves.
Clean yourselves up. Go ahead.
Be ye and your brethren, that ye may bring up the ark of the Lord of God of Israel unto the place that I have prepared for it.
Right. You and your brother from the tribe of Levi, you get yourselves together that you can do this work. Go ahead.
For because ye did it not.
Because you did it not. In other words, you dropped the ball. You didn't carry it through. You didn't follow through with what was actually, how can I say, assigned to you. Go ahead.
The Lord our God made a breach upon us.
Now the Lord breached upon us, but it was by way of killing one individual. But go ahead.
For that we sought him not after the due order.
After the what?
Due order.
Because we were seeking him, trying to do the right thing, but we weren't doing it after the what? The due order. Because the Ark of the Covenant is never supposed to be carried by a cart. It's supposed to be carried by Levites that are always supposed to keep the staves and the rings on the sides of the ark. You weren't doing your job, so we had other people carrying it, shaking it, and everything. It's not supposed to shake if you have 4 Levites on it, though, is it? No. If you have 4 Levites doing their job, right? Keep going. Is that the end of 13?
Yes.
Okay, jump to verse 15. 14.
So the priests and the Levites sacrificed themselves to bring up the ark of the Lord God of Israel.
In other words, they cleaned themselves up to do the work. Finish it out.
And the children of the Levites, that was the end of 14.
That's in the 14. That's all I want. In other words, they got on their job. Because he pointed out where the blemish, where the error was. They were doing it after the what? Due order. Now let's go ahead and go to Joshua 22. Let's go back up to take a look at this example. Cut a couple spots out. But in other words, that zeal is good with pure intentions, but you still have to have knowledge. And if you don't exercise knowledge in that situation, death can still occur. Death can still occur. Because once Moses put that pen down, there was nothing else to write. There was nothing else to change or reverse. It was already put out there. So pick it up at Joshua 22, and we're going to pick this up at verse 10. Listen to this story. Go ahead.
And when they came unto the borders of Jordan, that are in the land of Canaan.
Right, the children of Israel are now starting to come into the land and populate and spread out and take over this specific location where they're going to reside. Go ahead.
The children of Reuben and all the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh built there an altar by Jordan, a great altar to see to.
Right, so now all of a sudden some from the what we call the northern tribe are building an altar, right? A great altar to see to. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel heard saying, Behold, the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh have built an altar over against the land of Canaan in the borders of Jordan at the passage of the children of Israel.
So they said, hey, you know what the half tribe of Manasseh and Gad and Reuben are doing? They over here building a great altar. So they bring this back to the heads of the tribes. Go ahead.
And when the children of Israel heard of it, the whole congregation of the children of Israel gathered themselves together in Shiloh to go up to war against them.
So in other words, they stopped what they were doing. They said, look, we're going to go to war with them if that's what they're doing. In other words, we stop what we're doing. We're going to investigate. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel...
Because they think that they're getting ready to serve a false god with this great altar. That's why they're going to investigate. Let me clarify. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel sent unto the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and to the half tribe of Manasseh to the land of Gilead, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest.
Jump down to verse 15.
And they came unto the children of Reuben, and to the children of Gad, and to the half tribe of Manasseh, to the land of Gilead. And they spake unto them, saying.
So they showed up on them, and they had something to say. Hit verse 16.
Thus saith the whole congregation of the Lord, what trespass is this that ye have committed against the God of Israel?
Right. In other words, they said, what do you think you up to commit another great trespass? Go ahead.
To turn away this day from following the Lord, and that ye builded up an altar, that ye might rebel this day against the Lord.
Y'all building this altar, y'all going to rebel against God? Go ahead.
Is the iniquity of Peor too little for us?
That Peor is short for Baal Peor when they were serving a false god. He says, was that big sin or that iniquity, was that too small that you have to go and do something even worse than that? Go ahead.
From which we are not cleansed unto this day.
We still trying to make up with God over that. Go ahead.
Although there was a plague in the congregation of the Lord.
Even though the Lord started hitting some of us with that plague. Keep going.
But that ye must turn away this day from following the Lord. And it will be, seeing ye rebel today against the Lord, that tomorrow he will be wroth with the whole congregation of Israel.
You about to get the whole congregation in trouble from what you're doing. From what it seems like you're doing. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, if the land of your possession be unclean, then pass ye over unto the land the possession of the Lord, wherein the Lord's tabernacle dwelleth,
Right.
take possession amongst us.
Right.
But rebel not against the Lord,
Right, but don't rebel against the Lord. Go ahead.
or nor rebel against us.
Right.
In building you an altar beside the altar of the Lord our God.
Right. In other words, we already have a system of worship with the tabernacle. But don't rebel. If it's too much for you to be out here, just come back and hang out with us. Make sure that you don't deal with paganism. Go ahead and jump down to verse 15 or 20. Yep.
Did not Achan the son of Zerah commit a trespass in the accursed thing? And wrath fell on all the congregation of Israel?
Right, because someone had touched the accursed thing, and then when they went to go smoke AI, they ended up getting hit up by AI, a small group, a small city rather. Go ahead.
And that man perished not alone in his iniquity.
Right, in other words, that one individual didn't die, all the people that went to war against AI died with that one individual's iniquity. In other words, they're trying to say that the sin that you're doing, or what it appears that you're doing, can spread and affect others. Go ahead.
Then the children,
that's in the 20?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Then the children of Reuben and all the children of Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh answered and said unto the heads of the thousands of Israel.
Now this is the response. Go ahead.
The Lord God of gods, the Lord God of gods, he knoweth, and Israel he shall know.
Right.
Of it be in rebellion or in transgression against the Lord.
Right.
Save us not this day, that we are built us an altar to turn from following the Lord.
Right. Don't think that we build an altar to turn us from following the Lord. Go ahead.
Or if the offer thereon burnt offering or meat offering, or if the offer peace offerings thereon, let the Lord himself require it.
Right. Go ahead.
And if we have not rather done it for fear of this thing, saying, in time to come, your children might speak unto the children, saying.
So this is the real reason why we did it. In time to come, your children will speak unto our children. In other words, those down south coast of Jerusalem will speak to those of us north in Shiloh this thing. What will they say? Go ahead.
What have ye to do with the Lord God of Israel?
Well, so your descendants are going to say to our descendants, what do y'all have to do with the Lord God of Israel? Go ahead.
For the Lord hath made Jordan a border between you and us and you.
Because look, that Jordan separates us. Go ahead.
Ye children of Reuben and children of Gad, and have no part in the Lord.
In other words, they can say, y'all got nothing to do with the Lord. Go ahead.
So shall your children make our children cease from him fearing the Lord.
Right. In other words, we wanted to make sure that we had something that represents that we worship the same God, so that your children don't rebel and try to say act like our children because they live in this other location have nothing to do with the same God. Go ahead.
Therefore we said, let us now prepare to build us an altar, not for burnt offering.
Not for what?
Burnt offering.
This altar is not for burnt offering. Go ahead.
Nor for sacrifice.
Nor for sacrifice. Go ahead.
But that it may be a witness between us.
We did all this that it may be a witness. Go ahead.
And you and your generations after us, that we might do the service of the Lord before him with our offerings and with our sacrifices and with our peace offerings.
Right.
That your children may not say to our children, in time to come, ye have no part in the Lord.
Right. In other words, we made this so that way your kids can't say something against our kids that cause them to go worship a false god. Jump to verse 29.
God forbid that we should rebel against the Lord and turn this day from following the Lord.
God forbid that we go against the Lord. Go ahead.
To build an altar for burnt offerings,
right?
For meat offerings,
right?
And for sacrifices.
Exactly.
Besides the altar of the Lord our God that is before his tabernacle.
Besides the one that we already have before the tabernacle. This right here is just set as a witness to show that we're on the same page. Even though this was not made for sacrifices. We already have one that does sacrifices, and the priests do the sacrifice, not the Reubenites, not the half tribe of Manasseh, and not the tribe of Gad. Go ahead.
And when Phinehas, the priest, and the princes of the congregation and heads of the thousands of Israel which were with him, heard the words that the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the children of Manasseh spake, it pleased them.
It what?
Pleased them.
Oh, so now they understood what their intentions were. Their intentions weren't to rebel against God. They had pure intentions. They just did something to protect the generations that come after them. So then when they found out, okay, that's what it was really about. It pleased them. Go ahead.
And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, said unto the children of Reuben,
right,
and to the children of Gad,
right,
and to the children of Manasseh,
right,
this day we perceive that the Lord is among us.
This day we got somewhat understanding. We perceive that the Lord is among us. Go ahead.
Because ye have not committed this trespass against the Lord.
Committed trespass. Go ahead.
And ye have delivered the children of Israel out of the hand of the Lord. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, and the princes returned from the children of Reuben.
Right. Because they were getting ready to go to war, right? Because it's the priest's job to do what? To investigate. In other words, when dealing with trying to understand someone's intentions, you have to trust but verify still. So even though they heard it, they didn't just take that word and just start going to war with him immediately. They went to engage him and inquire of the matter. And then they let them speak for themselves, and their witness pleased them that they were still on the same page. There was no what? Breach. Go ahead.
And from the children of Gad, out of the land of Gilead, unto the land of Canaan, to the children of Israel, and brought them word again.
Right. That's all I want from that. Let's keep it going. Let's go to Acts chapter 5. Because even though someone can start out with pure intentions, will it remain? Because you have to follow that thing through to the end, right? Let's go to Acts chapter 5. Because there's all kinds of stories and situations to take account of, but you have to do your own reading. I'm just showing what's already in your book. Acts chapter 5, and picking up at verse 1. Like I said, the name of the lesson is Pure Intentions and Ulterior Motives. When you get there, go ahead and read Acts chapter 5, verse 1.
But a certain man named Ananias and Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession.
Right, because now they're trying to support the church on the new covenant. So now that, everyone has needs. So they're doing things, that they're selling lands and property to help the church and they need. But go ahead.
And kept back part of the price.
So they sold a possession. In other words, they sold some real estate and then they didn't give it all that they were supposed to give or that they had vowed to give. Go ahead.
And his wife also being privy of it. And brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet.
Right. In other words, they didn't bring the full thing. They said, we're going to sell this one piece of property and we're going to give you that value of the property from that sale. But then they're going to hold back some of the portion. It doesn't say whether they gave 50%, whether they gave 20%, whether they gave 99.9%. It just said they didn't give it all. Go ahead.
But Peter said, Ananias, why hath Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost?
In other words, you think you're dealing with men here? You think just because you're dealing with Israelites in the new covenant that the Lord still is not using his priests and giving them extra insight or extra understanding? You ain't lying to me, you lying to the Holy Ghost. Go ahead.
And keep back part of the price of the land?
Right.
While it remained.
Right.
Was it not thine own?
Before you even vowed on it, wasn't your own property. Go ahead.
And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power?
Go ahead.
Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart?
Why have you conceived? Something's going on with your intentions. Why you have conceived in your what? In your heart. But like Brother City's lesson last week, let you know that the heart is still talking about the brain. Because you conceive thoughts up here. Go ahead.
Thou hast not lied unto men.
You didn't lie unto men. Go ahead, but unto who?
But unto God.
But unto God. Not that the Holy Ghost is God, but the Holy Ghost is representing or is here on earth because God is in heaven and they have to report back. So when they go and get a report on you, who's that lie ultimately going to? It's ultimately going to God. Go ahead.
And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost.
And he just what? He fell down and gave. That's a nice way of saying he was killed. Go ahead.
And great fear came on all them that heard these things.
Right. Everyone, when they heard the whole story, everyone feared. Go ahead.
And the young men arose, wound him up.
They wound him up.
And carried him out.
Right.
And buried him.
But they was only dealing with one individual. Go ahead.
And it was about the space of 3 hours after. When his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Peter answered unto her, Tell me whether ye have sold the land for so much.
So she can see if he's seeing if she's gonna carry the same exact testimony that he gave, who's now dead. Go ahead.
She said, Yeah, for so much. Then Peter said unto her, How is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord.
You got to tempt the who? The
Spirit of the Lord.
Because the Holy Ghost is a Holy Spirit. But the Spirit of who? The Lord, because the Lord is God. Go ahead.
Behold, the feet of them which have buried thine husband are at the door.
Right, so it must have been a decent amount of time between when they went and digged up the pitch, a ditch, and dropped the husband in to, cover that up. Then they came all the way back, and now she's giving this false testimony. They're like, oh, we gotta go do this all over again. Go ahead.
And at the door, and shall carry thee out.
And they shall carry thee out. Go ahead.
Then she fell down straightway at his feet,
Uh-huh.
and yielded up the ghost.
Gave up the breath. Go ahead.
And the young men came in and found her dead, and carried her forth, buried her beside her husband.
Because they know exactly where the husband was buried, because they just got done burying him, so they're going to do the same thing again. But what happened? What went wrong here? The intentions of helping the church is pure, but you need to follow through your vows. If you don't follow through your vows, you are still, have a blemish. Your motives have changed. Now all of a sudden you're doing something to help something spiritual, but you so caught on, you got that cash in hand. Now you're thinking carnal things. You got to fight to make sure that your intentions be made pure upon doing what you said you were going to do before who? Before the angel, before the Holy Ghost. Now let's keep this going. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 6. Because what I'm doing, I'm trying to equip you with understanding when you're in situations where you may not know everything in house, ironing out, and who's who and what's going on. Don't worry. The Lord God sits in heaven, and he has angels that see everything. 2 Kings chapter 6. Let's pick it up at verse 9. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 9. How do I know that he has angels everywhere, people and everything? This is just another example. Because we saw one sent by Peter. Now we're going to see the one over here. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 9. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And the man of God sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that thou pass not such a place.
Right, because the king of Israel, he's fighting great wars like a lot of kings did, but the man of God is giving him some extra insight on how to carry himself and his people. Go ahead.
For thither the Syrians are come down.
Right, beware, don't go over there in that location, the Syrians is over there. Go ahead.
And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of God told him, and warned him of, and saved himself there.
Right, he saved him again, but go ahead.
Not once, nor twice.
Right, in other words, he's been assisting the king of Israel and his army. Go ahead.
Therefore, the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing.
Because now the king of Syria says, there has to be someone that's a spy in my camp that's telling them our battle strategies. Go ahead.
And he called his servants and said unto them, Well, ye not show me which of us is for the king of Israel?
Which one of us, which one in this room is really for the king of Israel? Go ahead.
And one of his servants said, None, my lord, O king.
Right.
But Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel.
But there's one with that extra insight. The prophet that's in Israel, go ahead.
Telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speakest.
Or giving good counsel to the king of Israel. Go ahead.
In thy bedchamber.
He's telling the king of Israel, to tell the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. So how can he say the words that's being said in your bedchamber if there's no angel present? In other words, don't worry about who's doing what. The angels see everything. So that's why you kind of fall back and you just, in fact, let's go to Matthew 18 real quick. Let's go to Matthew 18. I want to show you something. Because Jesus kind of put a little highlight on this. I'm going to bring it up. Matthew 18, pick it up at verse 10. He sees everything. So what it does, it helps you, take a breath, calm down, back up, and just go to the Lord. In other words, the real source of your power in the first place. Because sometimes, when we're in different situations, we want to take things into our own hands. But this right here, he's showing us something. Matthew 18 and verse 10. And when you get there, go ahead and read.
Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. Mm-hmm. For I say unto you.
So right. Take heed that you don't despise one of these little ones. Go ahead.
For I say unto you. That in heaven.
That where?
In heaven.
In heaven, go ahead.
Their angels do always behold the face of my Father.
Their what?
Their face.
No. What did you say before face?
Their angels.
Their angels do what?
do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven.
These little ones have an assigned angel to each and every one of them. Beware how you treat this one individual, because they have an assigned angel who always beholds the face of their Father. Go ahead.
For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost.
What verse you at?
12.
No, that's it. No, in other words, be careful how you treat and deal with people, because they have an assigned angel who knows everything. So in other words, what you do, you just call back, sit back, you pray to the Lord, let him reveal, and the Lord's going to reveal it, the situation, because there's an angel assigned to everything. Let's keep going, especially at that baptism. Let's go to 2 Samuel 13. Let's go back to 2 Samuel 13. I want to deal with some ulterior motives real quick. I just wanted to show pure intentions overall, pure intentions with and without knowledge. Then I want to show pure intentions that start to sour and go bad. Now we can go deal with the ulterior motive side of the coin. 2 Samuel 13, and pick it up at verse 1. 2 Samuel 13 and verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And it came to pass after this, that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister.
Right, so Absalom is one of David's sons, right? He had a fair or beautiful sister, go ahead.
Whose name was Tamar. And Ammon, the son of David, loved her.
Right, it says he loved her, right? But I just want you to ask and consider yourself, is this love? Go ahead.
And Amnon was so vexed.
He's so vexed, go ahead.
That he fell sick for his sister Tamar.
Right.
For she was a virgin. And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her.
What do you mean thought it hard? Because you're not asking David, so now you have to scheme. So that's why you're thinking it's hard. Go ahead.
But Amnon had a friend.
Here it go. Amnon has a what?
A friend.
Amnon has a what?
A friend.
That's why I'm showing that sometimes the people in your circle are not necessarily giving friendly advice, because his friend is going to mess up and get his life taken. Go ahead.
Whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother.
Right.
And Jonadab was a very subtle man.
He was a very what?
Subtle.
Subtle. In other words, he knew how to move. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother's Absalom's sister.
I want to cut that out. He don't love Tamar. He lusting after Tamar. Because the same way, I'm falling sick, and I don't know how I'm going to accomplish this thing. But then you had the same thing with the wicked king Ahab, who over here pouting and crying, and guess who's going to try to come and show up and give counsel? I know how to help you get it. His wife Jezebel, right? Same situation, different characters, different people, but it's the same spirit, and you have to be able to recognize the spirits. Go ahead.
And Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick.
And make yourself sick. Go ahead.
And when thy father cometh to see thee,
right,
say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand.
Right, but he could have asked the father for the hand in marriage. But because he has an ulterior motive, he's just asking, have her come cook something for him. Or what they say today, Netflix and chill. Go ahead.
So,
I know. This book right here. Go ahead.
So Amnon laid down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar, my sister, come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand.
Go ahead.
Then David sent
He didn't say let her prepare and then just deliver, drop it off. Let her come do everything over here. Go ahead.
Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go down to thy brother Amnon's house and dress him with meat. So Tamar went to her brother's Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour and kneaded it and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes.
Go ahead.
And she took the pan and poured them out before him. But she refused to eat.
But he refused.
He refused to eat.
Then apparently what was he after? If he now asked to make all this food, now he ain't eat. But go ahead.
And Amnon said, have out all men from me.
In other words, everyone get out. body. Go ahead.
And they went out, every man from him. And Amnon said unto Tamar, bring the meat unto the chamber, that I may eat in thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them unto the chamber to Amnon her brother.
See, the thing is, she was oblivious to the fact that she's being plotted upon, not by just one individual, but by more than one individual. So this is just another reminder why you need to stay on your A game, because you may not know who's plotting on you. You just showing up trying to do the right thing. Pure intention. I just make someone that's food for someone that's sick, but your pure intention does not mean that you don't operate with knowledge. Go ahead.
And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister.
So that those ulterior motives were finally unveiled. Go ahead.
And she answered him, nay, my brother.
Right, but see, it's almost like too late. Like she should have called on a little bit ahead of the game. But go ahead.
Do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel.
That's right. Go ahead.
Do not thou this follow.
Don't do this foolishness. Go ahead.
And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel.
That's right. Go ahead.
Now therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee.
Right. Well, he did speak unto the king, but just to get something to eat. He didn't want to put this on the table. But she's saying do something in the right way. Let's see what happens. Go ahead.
Albeit he would not hearken unto her voice,
right?
But being stronger than she, forced her and laid with her.
Go ahead.
And Amnon hated her exceedingly.
Well, I thought it said that he loved her twice in the beginning of the chapter, right? Now all of a sudden he hated her because that love wasn't love. Just because someone puts the word love on the table, you have to be able to discern what it really is. Go ahead.
So that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her.
Exactly. Go ahead.
And Amnon said unto her, arise, be gone.
Right. Now he will just kick her out. Go ahead.
And she said unto him, there is no cause.
There's no cause, and there's no reason why you should be behaving in this manner. Go ahead.
This evil is sending me away is greater than the other.
So she had knowledge. You sending me away after doing this is greater than what you started the situation with. Go ahead.
And thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, put now this woman out for me. And bolt the door after her.
So he gonna say, kick her out and then bolt the door behind her. So was his intentions pure, or did he have an ulterior motive? Y'all see how you may not see the actual word ulterior motive, but you could read it all throughout the book? Keep going.
And
because see, just how that's why this book's so cold. The same way that he operated, we're gonna put that right back on his head. Go ahead.
And she had a garment of diverse colors.
Because apparently the virgins had a different apparel. Go ahead.
For with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins' apparel. Then his servant brought her out.
Virgins had different clothes. Keep going.
Then her servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head.
She's lamenting. Ashes on the head is a sign of lamenting or great sadness. Go ahead.
And rent her garment of diverse colors.
Because she was no longer a virgin for what he just did. He forced her, so she ripped her garment. Go ahead.
That was on her. And laid her hand on her head and went on crying. And Absalom, her brother, said unto her.
Oh, now Absalom, the brother, he knows. He said, hold on, what's going on here? Go ahead.
Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee?
Because he must have known that she was just with Amnon, because he said, why is your garment of virginity ripped? Has Amnon thy brother been with thee? Go ahead.
But hold down thy peace, my sister.
Oh, but now you see what he just did. Instantly, the ulterior motive is about to be switched on him. Go ahead.
For is thy brother regard not this thing?
You said he's not a brother regard not this thing. In other words, he's pacifying his sister, but he's really about to take the battle in his own hands. Go ahead.
So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house.
Keep going.
But when King David heard of all these things,
right,
he was very wroth.
He was very upset, but he understood that all this is hitting his household from what he did. Operating with an ulterior motive. Go ahead. All against Uriah the Hittite. Go ahead.
And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad.
So he didn't say nothing good or bad to him. Go ahead.
For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar. And it came to pass after 2 full years.
After how long?
2 full years.
Remember, those definitions about ulterior motives said that a certain amount of time has to transpire, then it's revealed. Go ahead.
That Absalom, his sheep shears in Baal-Hazor, which is beside Ephraim, and Absalom invited all the king's sons.
So he's like, hey, I'm going to have a function. I want all the king's sons to come out at this location for this function. Go ahead.
And Absalom came to the king and said, behold now, thy servant hath sheep shears. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant. And the king said unto Absalom, nay, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him, howbeit he would not go, but blessed him.
Say how you pressed him like that? Come on, Pops. Go ahead.
And then said Absalom, if not, I pray thee, let thy brother Amnon go with us.
Right. And the king said unto him, why should he go with thee? Right. He's like, why you want Absalom to go? Or Amnon to go. Go ahead.
But Absalom pressed him, and he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him.
Right. Go ahead.
Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, mark ye now when Amnon's heart is merry with wine.
Right. Now remember, it was just Amnon and what was that? Jonadab that's plotting on Tamar. But now the brother Absalom with the other servants is saying, now mark him. Go ahead.
And when I say unto you, smite Amnon, then kill him.
Go ahead.
Fear not. Have not I commanded you?
Right. In other words, I'm the one that commands you. Don't fear. Go ahead.
Be courageous. Be valiant. And the sons of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom said, commanded.
They killed him. Go ahead.
Then all the king's sons arose, and every man gat him up upon his mule and fled.
Right. You don't have to tell Israel too many times when something's crazy going down that they're going to get out of dodge. Something go crazy, someone shooting, they just breaking out. That's what you see here. Someone just got hit, everyone breaking out. Go ahead.
And it came to pass while they were in the way, that tidings came to David, saying.
Right, now word or tidings came back to David. Go ahead.
That tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left.
You see how that hearsay plays? Now all of a sudden everyone just got killed, right? So that's why you have to be careful with that hearsay, because sometimes it's not all, the first reports aren't always accurate. Go ahead.
Then the king arose and tear his garments,
right,
and lay on the earth, and all the servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, answered and said, let not my lord suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's son.
He said, don't believe that in this report. All the king's sons are dead, but go ahead.
For Amnon only is dead.
For Amnon only is dead. Go ahead.
For by the appointment of Absalom, this has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar.
Oh, now that's what it's really all about. All of this is to have to do with what Amnon did to Tamar. He tried to get the vengeance upon, Absalom tried to get vengeance upon Amnon. Because now the ulterior motives have been now shifted on him. Do y'all see that? Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 1. 1 Kings chapter 1. Because, Jonadab didn't say, I was the one that gave him that advice. So you didn't see that part. Right. 1 Kings chapter 1. Y'all get some out of this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 1 Kings chapter 1, we're going to pick this up at verse 5. So this is some time later, another brother, Adonijah, who wants to lift himself up. So 1 Kings chapter 1, and pick up at verse 5. When you get there, go ahead and read. 1 Kings chapter 1. Adonijah, yep.
Then Adonijah, the son of Haggith,
yep.
exalted himself,
He did what?
Exalted himself.
Oh, he exalted himself. At no point was it ever told that he would be the ruler over Israel. But he exalted himself. Go ahead.
I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him.
Go ahead.
And his father had not displeased him.
Right. His father didn't stop him at any time, but go ahead.
At any time in saying, why hast thou done so?
Right.
And also was a very goodly man, And his mother bare him after
That's not
Absalom.
saying he's good in his behavior. It's just saying that he is good as far as looks. That's what that's speaking about. Go ahead.
And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah.
Right. So he conferred with Joab, which is the captain of David's army or David's host. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Adonijah says, "I'm going to speak with Joab." Go ahead.
And with Abiathar, the priest.
And I'm going to speak with Abiathar. Go ahead.
And they, following Adonijah, helped him.
Right, because I'm going to speak to them because these people are going to help me. But watch what happens in verse 8. Go ahead.
But Zadok, the priest
Oh, but Zadok, the priest over here, go ahead.
Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada,
Jehoiada or Benaiah, go ahead.
and Nathan, the prophet,
And Nathan, the prophet, go ahead.
and Shimei, and Rei,
Yeah.
and all the mighty men which
And the
belonged to
mighty
David,
men. Right, and the mighty men which belong to David, go ahead.
were not with Adonijah.
Right, but they were with Adonijah. You had these people that he conferred with because they were going to help him in his ambitions, in his intentions, or in his motives, but he didn't want to speak to these people because they were not in line with what he sought out to do. Go ahead. Which verse was that?
I'm at verse 9.
Verse 9. Go ahead. Keep going.
And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fat cattle by the stone of Zehelah, which is by Enrogel, and called all his brethren and king's sons and all the men of Judah, the king's servant. But Nathan the prophet.
So this is saying all his brothers, all the king's sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he still left out one. Go ahead.
And Benaiah, the mighty men, and Solomon his brother, he called not.
Oh, but he didn't call who? Solomon. He called the ones he wanted to call that were on his page, but there's one he kept on leaving out because it lets you know already it's an ulterior motive. Go ahead.
Wherefore Nathan spake unto Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Hast thou not heard that Adonijah, the son of Haggith, doth reign?
Right.
And David our Lord knoweth it not?
Right. Jump to verse 20. In other words, Nathan's getting worried. You know what your boy over there doing, right? Jump to verse 20.
And thou, my Lord, O king.
Because they have to bring the report. Bathsheba and Nathan has to bring the report to David. But jump to verse. So they're speaking to David. Hit verse 20.
The eyes of all Israel were upon thee.
Now everyone's looking at you like, okay, what do you say about this situation? Go ahead.
That thou shouldest tell them that shall sit on the throne of my Lord the king after him.
Who's going to sit on the throne? That you should be able to speak on who's going to sit on the throne. Go ahead.
Otherwise it shall come to pass when my Lord the king shall sleep with his fathers, that I and my son Solomon shall be counted offenders.
Offenders. In other words, the ones that he's not inviting, he's really at war with. It's just going to be more blatant when he's in power. Now jump down to verse 32. Let's keep going. I'm hitting the heavy parts, so we keep moving. 32. Go ahead.
And King David said, Call me Zadok the priest.
Okay.
And Nathan the prophet. And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada.
So David understands what's going on, right? So he calls the ones that he's really rolling with. Because remember, Joab was the one that turned around and killed Abner, right? Mm-hmm. Joab is the one that killed his son Absalom. So he already knows who's on what page. So he already said, call Zadok, call Benaiah, call Nathan the prophet. Go ahead.
And they came before the king. The king also said unto them, Take with you the servants of your Lord, and call Solomon my son to ride upon mine own mule.
Hold on. Take with you who?
Solomon.
No. It says, take with you. The top of 33, take with you who?
Take with you servants.
Of who?
Of your Lord.
Oh, take with you the real what? Servants of the Lord. Go ahead.
And call Solomon my son to ride upon mine own mule.
Right.
And bring him down to Gihon.
Right, because riding on the old mule was a sign of who was really going to be the next king. That's why David had to come riding on the ass, like it says in Zechariah chapter 9. But go ahead, hit verse 34.
And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there, king over Israel.
Right. In other words, if you want to be the king of Israel, you have to be anointed. Go ahead.
And blow ye with the trumpet and say, God save King Solomon.
And God save King Solomon. Go ahead. That's in the 34. Keep going.
then ye shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne. And he shall be king in my stead. And I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel.
So he's appointed to be ruler over Israel. He's to be king in his stead. He's the one that I've chosen. But jump down to verse 41, because meanwhile, they all think they off to the races. It's all this. It's Adonai king. He's going to reign over Israel. But hold up, not so fast. Verse 41, because real service to God can already people will see the ulterior motive. Hit verse 41. Go ahead.
And Adonai and all the guests that were with him.
And all the guests that were with him, go ahead.
Heard it as they had made an end of eating.
So they over here eating. They living real good. They celebrating. Go ahead.
And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet.
But when they hear the sound of the what?
The trumpet.
Because Joab knows what the trumpet means. The trumpet means gather the people, the announcing of war, or the reigning of a new king. So when Joab, who's supposed to have some understanding, hold up, I hear a trumpet blowing. Go ahead.
And said, wherefore is this noise of the city being in an uproar?
Right. Why is everything in an uproar? Go ahead, jump down to verse 43. Go ahead.
And Jonathan answered and said unto Adonai,
because someone came to bring news. And then Jonathan, go ahead. He said to Adonai, go ahead.
Verily our Lord King David hath made Solomon king.
Verily. It was given to Solomon, not you. Go ahead.
And the king hath sent him Sadat, the priest.
Who you didn't invite, go ahead.
And Nathan the prophet.
Who you didn't invite, go ahead.
And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada.
Who you didn't invite, go ahead.
And the Sherethites. And the Pelethites. And they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule.
Which you did not ride upon. You had an ulterior motive. It was exposed because David has chosen Solomon to be king. And nowhere in this account did you see Solomon say one single word. So if someone has an ulterior motive against you, what do you have to do? Do you have to defend yourself? No, you pray to your God, because he got a circumstance laid out as we go to who's going to go to. Go ahead.
And Sadat, the priest of Nathan, the prophet, have anointed him king of Gihon. And they are come up from thence rejoicing.
And you think we was rejoicing? They're the one that's really rejoicing. Go ahead.
So that the city rang again. This is the noise that ye have heard.
This is what you done heard. Go ahead. But it's interesting because y'all were the ones invited to the anointing of the real king. Go ahead.
And also Solomon sitteth on the throne.
He's already sitting on the throne while you're over here in this summer palace. Or this parlor house. Go ahead.
And moreover, the king's servants came to bless our Lord King David, saying, God make the name of Solomon better than thy name, and make his throne greater than thy throne.
Right, go ahead.
And the king bowed himself upon the bed. And also thus said the king, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which hath given one to sit on my throne this day. Mine eyes even seated.
Right. Now watch what happens, because the behavior keeps revealing their intentions. Keep going.
And all the guests that were with Adonai.
Some of the guests.
All the guests.
All the guests that were with Adonijah. Go ahead.
Were afraid.
Were what?
Afraid.
Because now it's being revealed who's who. Go ahead.
And rose up and went every man his way.
But everyone's going up and going quietly, right? All of a sudden, if they had a little bit to drink, they sobering up that. I gotta get them out of here. Because you knew that your gathering was already faulty. You knew your ambition was already flawed, and it was not sanctioned by God. So you have to have your own people do your own things, but when the Lord does his bidding, all the lights are being shown on who's who. Keep going.
And Adonai feared because of Solomon.
Oh, of the one whom he did not invite. Go ahead.
And arose and went and caught hold on the horns of the altar.
Oh, you know what that means. When they grab hold of the horns of the altar, that means they're trying to show repentance, trying to show, I need mercy, holding the horns of the altar. But see, he did not say anything to Solomon. His action shows that I need forgiveness because what I was just doing was wicked. Do y'all see that? Okay. Hit 51.
And it was told Solomon, saying,
Solomon does not have wicked intentions. Go ahead.
Behold, Adonai feared the king Solomon. For lo, he hath caught hold on the horns of the altar, saying,
Now you're being repentant, right? But he's the one that prepared himself to do all this stuff. Go ahead.
Let King Solomon swear unto me today that he will not slay his servant with the sword.
Now he said, no, I'm your servant. And he said that Solomon is king. But because his mindset was always wicked, he turned around and ended up getting killed by trying to get how can I say, he wasn't satisfied with his life. He had to go try to get the maid that was helping out King David while he was sick. And then he ended up getting slayed. But let's keep this moving. Let's jump down to, let's go straight to 2 Samuel chapter 6. 2 Samuel chapter 6. Actually, no. Let's go to Daniel 6. Let's go to Daniel 6. Let's go to Daniel 6. I'll show y'all enough of David and his intentions, because what I was going to show you there was just that David was dancing for the Lord. They happy they bringing the ark home, because they failed the first time. And the next thing you know, his wife come out of nowhere talking crazy to him. And he in other words, you thought you was something, dancing out there without no shirt on, showing your trapezius muscle. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I was just dancing to Joseph with the Lord, my God, who chose me over your father. And she didn't have no kids by him ever since. In other words, they was trying to place a claim that he had ulterior motive, that he was trying to press the women. No, he was just really happy that he got everyone back home alive with the ark. Everyone ain't on that carnal stuff. Let's go to Daniel chapter 6 and pick it up at verse 1. Telling you, you can start to just use that discerning spirit, and you will be able to see clearly what's what, because you have so many examples right here. Go ahead and pick it up at verse 1. Daniel chapter 6 and verse 1, when you get there, go ahead and read it.
And it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, right, which should be over the whole kingdom,
right,
and over these 3 presidents,
right. In this case, we have how many presidents? We have 1, right? Back then they had 3. Go ahead.
Of whom Daniel was first.
Oh, but Daniel was over them. So who should you be putting your hope in, the presence or the service of God? Go ahead.
That the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage.
Keep going.
Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king thought.
So he was preferred. In other words, he had a preference. The king, like how Daniel was operating, go ahead.
And the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Right, go ahead.
Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel.
What, now Daniel doing anything against them? No. But now because he moving up in the ranks, they like, we got to do something about this individual. But they weren't saying nothing when he interpreted the dream for Nebuchadnezzar and saved all their lives, right? When he said, grab all the wise men and Chaldeans, the sorcerers of Babylon, and slay them, he turns around and gives the interpretation of the dream, gives the dream and the interpretation, and their lives get saved. But they didn't want to do that, did they? They said, we got to do something about him who just saved our lives. Go ahead.
Concerning the kingdom, they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
He was faithful. That's why it says, service be obedient to your masters, but that's not talking about slavery. That's talking about if you have a job, you are a servant to a master or a supervisor or a boss, just be obedient, and they won't have any occasion to say against you, like they already tried to. She just took off for what's that unleavened bread feast. What you worried about me? I'm getting my job done right. Everything's in on time, right? The work quality is 100, right? So don't worry about when I take my own personal leave. Go ahead.
Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
We have to find a way. In other words, a scheme to get him to contradict the law of his God. Go ahead. In other words, we're seeing the motives being conceived. We're seeing where it's starting to generate. Go ahead.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him.
You said these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, right? But it did not include Daniel. They've been doing this without him anywhere, seeing any of this, because he would have been able to keep it out anyway. Go ahead.
And said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever.
King Darius, live forever. You know how they do. Brown nose. Go ahead.
All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, and the princes, and counselors, and the captains have consulted together to
stop. That's a lie. Because all of them did consult together because they left out Daniel. So they already lied to me when they say live forever. All the presidents, no. He ain't with them. Right. Go ahead.
to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians.
Right, and so sometimes you can have someone that's ruling that, or as king, that can still be a little naive, because just like sometimes the senators or the legislative bodies will write up the actual legislative documents or the things that they want to pass or ratify, and they just put on the president that just go ahead and sign. See what I'm saying? A lot of times they just sign without reason. They don't know what they're doing. So he's a little naive, but go ahead.
Which altereth not.
Right, with altereth not, go ahead.
Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed.
When Daniel what?
Knew that the writing was signed.
So he wasn't oblivious, right? He wasn't, well, I can say, he possibly was caught off guard. We can't read that, but we understand that he knew what they was up to. Go ahead. When he knew that the writing was signed, go ahead.
He went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem.
He wasn't hiding. He opened the windows, right? Go ahead.
And to his chambers toward Jerusalem.
Towards where?
Jerusalem.
Because he don't understand who really rules among men. The king that's the king of Jerusalem. Go ahead.
He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day.
Right. So I'm gonna decline. I'm gonna just do it once or twice. I'm gonna wait till it's nighttime. They can't see me. He said I'm gonna do it in the morning, noon, and at the evening sacrifice. Go ahead.
And prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime.
So he ain't changed it up, did he? No, he didn't. Go ahead.
Then these men assembled.
Because these scriptures are written for our admonition. These are our examples. Just because whatever man is doing, hey, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. We still operate with knowledge and wisdom and understanding, but when certain circumstances are beyond our reach, we still understand that we have a power and an advocate on high. Go ahead.
Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication for his God.
So they was looking for him, right? They found him. Oh, look, there he is right there. He's still praying towards Jerusalem. He has a supplication of another God other than the king. Go ahead.
Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree.
In other words, they're like, oh, we got it. We're going to come back and tell us to the king. Go ahead.
Hast thou not signed a decree?
Oh, hey, king, didn't you sign a decree the other day, a couple weeks ago? Go ahead.
That every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions.
Didn't you say that this is the punishment for someone that does this? Go ahead.
The king answered and said,
See, they are not concerned with the legislation. It is an angle against the individual. They're just using this as the vehicle. Go ahead.
The thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition
because
3 times
make it seem like,
a day.
This individual has a problem with you. King has nothing to do with that. He's just ain't paying attention to this legislation that they formed just to get him to sign. Go ahead. So they're over here thinking that they orchestrated something, right? But according to the book, be careful when you dig a ditch. You might find yourself falling in, or you roll a stone on someone, you're going to find a stone being rolled on you. Go ahead.
Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself.
With who? With himself. Oh, I should have known that they was up to something. He's displeased with himself that he didn't pay attention, that he didn't have his eyes on him. Go ahead.
And set his heart on
Daniel. It's interesting because Daniel didn't even go to the king and say, you know what they up to, right? He didn't even have to worry about that. He concerned himself with nothing concerning with man. Go ahead.
And set his heart on Daniel to deliver him.
So now he's trying to figure out, according to the laws of the Medes and Persians, how can I find a glitch or a loophole to deliver him? Go ahead.
And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him.
Go ahead. Because now it's shown that this king had what? Pure intentions and signed that, but he was still, how can I say, a little gullible. Go ahead.
Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, Now, O king, let the law I mean that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed.
Right. Go ahead.
Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel.
Now, so we know about Daniel goes to lions then, but they don't ever really speak about what this individual king said to Daniel before he went in. Go ahead.
Thy God, whom thou servest.
Who?
Thy God.
Your God. Go ahead.
Whom thou servest
Who
continually.
you serve without a break. Go ahead.
He will deliver thee.
He will deliver you. Go ahead. So who has faith here? Just Daniel? Or does Daniel and the king that was trying to figure out how do I get him out of the situation? He said, no, I can't find a way out. Your God's going to get you out of this situation. He will deliver you. Go ahead. So, but this is not an Israelite, is it? This is a king of another nation. So how are you going to say that someone of another nation can't have faith?
Right.
Go ahead.
And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. And the king sealed
A stone was brought and laid upon the what?
the mouth of the den.
So when you see that this individual who should be dead on the inside because a great stone was covered it, then when you see Jesus in the New Testament and that stone is open and that individual you thought was supposed to be dead is now alive, who should you not be have an understanding of who's who? You should understand that this is right here is a microcosm or a prototype of showing that Jesus is not going to be dead in there forever. He's coming out too after that great stone gets rolled away. Go ahead.
And the king sealed it with his own signet.
Because they have kind of some kind of seal. So he was sealed with his ring or signet. Go ahead.
And with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel.
Right. But we all know the end of that story, though, right? That this ulterior motive did not accomplish itself. But in other words, these individuals were thrown in his place, and they were, it said the lions took the mastery of them. In other words, they died, right? But that, everyone would have been alive if they didn't have this what? Ulterior motive. That real aim of what she was really trying to get at, turned around and got you. Psalms 82, let's keep it moving. Psalms 82. Because as we see so far, who they include or exclude will speak bias. But all you need to do is focus on giving the Lord his praise, like we saw Daniel doing, right? Or David doing, right, when he was dancing. I'm just focused on giving the Lord his praise. Psalms 82, and pick this up at verse 1. Psalms 82 and verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read. Y'all get something from this lesson?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure. Okay. Psalms 82 and verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read.
God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods.
Right. He's the one that's going to be judging those in the future who make that cut to become part of the Godhead family or the Elohim family. He judges among the gods. Go ahead.
How long will ye judge unjustly?
So in the meantime, he's asking y'all a question. How long will you judge unjustly? Go ahead.
And accept the persons of the wicked.
And accept the what?
Persons of the wicked.
Right, because you can't have wicked people influencing righteous judgment, because then the judgment will no longer be righteous. So just in that situation, you see, how can I say in the book of Daniel, you read a lot about politicking or playing politics to get to your ulterior motive. But he's like, how long will you accept that? When you understand that God's going to be judging in the congregation of the mighty, and you're not going to be a judge in the congregation of the mighty or be among the gods if you're unrighteous. So why are you selling yourself short from the real judgment? Let's keep this moving. Let's go to Genesis 20. Genesis 20. In other words, don't worry, time will tell their ulterior motive. And a lot of times we apply this on a daily basis. We just don't sometimes call it out. In relationships, right? A lot of times young men are trying to see if this young lady is really about him or about what his possessions are, or his fame or his status or his stature. The same thing, the young women are trying to assess whether this individual that's saying all this good game, so-called, is really about taking care of me forever. In other words, for my entire life. What does that mean? That's called marriage. So we're always trying to discern what are your real objectives. But when a lot of times you may end up you see a lot of these nowadays people actually get married, but then they find a silly cause to divorce their spouse. Well, hold up. So you went through all this, and it seemed pure when you crossed that threshold and you got married, but now for any other small little reason, oh, you know, she talked too loud, or, you know, he don't make enough money, whatever. Now you're getting a divorce, then what was your real motive in the first place? Was your motive that individual, that person, to have it, to hold? You know what I'm saying? Till what do us part?
Yeah.
Death. And if the person's still alive, but there ain't been no foul play, then what was your real objective in the first place? We always applying these concepts, trying to discern which side of it they're on. And in the meantime, we're just seeing it play out in the Bible, that people have different motives. Let's go to Genesis 20, pick up at verse 1. Genesis 20, verse 1, when you get there, go ahead and read.
And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country,
right,
and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur,
right,
and sojourned in Gerar,
right.
And Abraham said unto Sarah, his wife, she is my sister.
Right. So he's using a technicality. She's really, you know, my sister, but this is talking about not necessarily from the same womb, but go ahead.
And Abimelech, the king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night.
So Abimelech came and took Sarah. In other words, you know, it's his fine sister. You may want to holler. So he goes in and go takes her, right? Something like what David did when he wasn't being the most pure, right? Go ahead. Verse
3.
Verse 3, right.
But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night.
Who answers this situation? God. What is God doing? God is defending marriage. He is defending a marriage right here. Go ahead.
And said unto him, behold, thou art but a dead man.
What? You are a dead man. Imagine you done had a nice long day, you know, your belly full, you sleeping nice and peaceful, and then let's say you hear you are a dead man. Because he is protecting this marriage. The same way with Miriam and Aaron was talking about Moses, and they were talking about, because he was married that Ethiopian. They are married.
Right.
How can you go and speak against that? God comes in the situation, keeps on defending marriages. So be careful about when you start altering marriages or entering into one that's already solidified and trying to mess that up. Go ahead.
For the woman which thou hast taken.
For the one that you took. Go ahead.
For she is a man's wife.
For she is what?
A man's wife.
Go ahead.
But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation?
Right, so he think, hey, you gonna kill me? I thought I was righteous. Or we say a righteous nation, because the Lord ain't gonna deal with him. It's going to end up dealing with all the people. Go ahead.
Said he not unto me, she is my sister.
He didn't tell me this. Go ahead.
And she.
I'm sorry. He told me she's my sister. He didn't tell me that she's my wife. Go ahead.
And she herself said, is he my brother? In the integrity of my heart.
In the what?
The integrity of my heart.
Integrity, pureness, in the innocency of my heart. What?
And innocency of my hands have I done this.
That's why I did this, because I did not know that was the real situation. Go ahead.
And God said unto him in a dream, yeah, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart.
Right, and you know how people say, God know my heart? Yes, he does, when it's wicked or when it's righteous. He said, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart. But he still didn't say, hey, that's actually a woman that's spoken for. He still put it on the table. You are a dead man. Right. Go ahead.
For I also withheld thee from sinning against me.
I withheld you. So it's almost like it's got nothing to do with them. This marriage or covenant before the Lord is now it's between this individual that's on the outside of the marriage and then God himself. He said, I kept thee from sinning against me. You have to see the spiritual side of it, not just the fleshly. Go ahead, because they both bow to the Lord. That's spirit, that's covenant. That covenant went between, has been ratified. God's like, yeah, I honor y'all marriage. I'm in agreement with y'all. Anyone else coming and breaking up this marriage, other than, certain occasions that he says, you can get out of it, like fornication or, adultery, whatever. Then he's saying, you are now dealing with me. Right. So in other words, he's defending the marriage. Go ahead.
Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her.
Right, I suffered, in other words, I prevented you because I knew that you did this in the integrity of your own heart. Go ahead.
Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet.
For he is a what?
A prophet.
Uh-huh.
And he shall pray for thee.
And because he is, he's still even going to pray for you. Go ahead.
And thou shalt live.
And you are allowed to do what?
Live.
Live. Go ahead.
And if thou restore her not.
However, if you want to, say, get too big for your britches, go ahead.
Know thou that thou shalt surely die.
You shall surely die. This ain't just talking about the first death, because if you get taken down to the first death, the second one is on its way. Go ahead.
Thou and all that are thine.
And all that are yours. Let's take a look at this. Let's go to Psalms 105 real quick. So that's what the one thing that the Lord does. He gives his prophets extra insight, extra knowledge, extra understanding, but he also does this. Psalms 105, and pick up at verse 14. Psalms 105, verse 14. Like I said, it was a perfect lesson that Brother Sidney had last week, showing how the conscience is really, or the mind is really speaking about the heart, not necessarily the blood pump. Because if you said, I know that you did this in the innocency of your own heart, he didn't talk about the blood pump. So he broke that down last week, so we just see it play out, or a continuation of that here. Psalms 105 and verse 14, when you get there, go ahead and read.
He suffered no man to do them wrong.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he reproved kings for their sakes.
Well, didn't we just see that what's happened to Abimelech? He got reproved or corrected, right? Because he suffered no man to do his servants wrong. Go ahead.
Saying, touch not mine anointed.
Uh-huh.
And do my prophets no harm.
And do my prophets, don't touch my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Intervening in his marriage, which it was clearly, because it says he was sporting with his wife, that he loved her, right? So he said, I'm going to correct you on that. So you reprove kings for their sakes. But let's go to Hebrews 4, and let's see why this is the case. Hebrews 4, and we're going to pick this up at verse 12. We're going to hit 3 verses. Because other men may not fully know your intentions or where your mindset's at, doesn't mean that the Lord don't know. So sometimes with your own physical eyes, you can only see so much. You can't even see everything in this room at the same time because you can only look in one direction. But the last time I checked, the angels got eyes all over, right? Mm-hmm. Front, back, side. They can see everything. They got 4 faces. They got wings, so they could have different levels of transportation that we don't have. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. When you get there, go ahead and read.
For the word of God is quick.
The word of God is what?
Quick.
That means that this book is alive. Go ahead.
And powerful.
Uh-huh.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
That's right. Go ahead.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul.
This book can even help divide what? That's what it means by piercing even to the dividing. It can help divide between what's over here and what's over there. Go ahead.
And spirit.
Well, hit that. The piercing even to. Start with piercing.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of souls and spirits.
Soul, that means flesh. When you operate in carnally or in your flesh, that's what that soul means. And spirit, when you operate in spirit, this word can help delineate between which is which. Which one are you operating in? Go ahead.
And of the joints and marrow. Uh-huh. And is a discerner.
It's a what?
A discerner.
This will help you to discern what?
Of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
The thoughts and the intentions that people have. That intentions is the same thing as those motives, whether or not they are pure or whether they are ulterior. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight.
I mean, any creature. A lot of times we think, flesh and blood, but the angels are created beings too. We can see what they're called, the 4 living creatures. So he don't just see the flesh and blood, he see where all the angels are too, because they got to report back to him. So, now, even though they're on the change of darkness to us, he still sees them. Go ahead.
But all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him.
All things are what?
Open and naked.
Naked and open. Everything is naked and open to him. So that's why you lean on him versus on your own understanding. Go ahead.
Unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do.
Right, go ahead.
Seeing then that we have a great high priest.
We have a great what?
High priest.
A great high priest, go ahead.
That is passed unto the heavens.
Right.
Jesus, the Son of God.
Right.
Let us hold fast our profession.
In other words, let us get on our job, because we got a great high priest that's already on his job. Let's keep going. Let's go to Matthew chapter 2. How do we know he's on his job? Because he passed his test. Let's go take a look at his test. we could say almost before his test really started. They wanted to get him out the game early. But let's see the way in which, because in I think in Revelation 12, we're spoke about in the dragon, persecuted the woman which had the man-child. We understand that it was Satan through the four empires, Babylon, Medo, Persia, Greece, and the Roman Empire. He used the Roman Empire to try to kill Jesus by an ulterior motive. Let's go ahead and pick it up at verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read. Matthew 2, verse 1. Yep, go ahead and hit it.
Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Right, and then, go ahead and hit verse 2.
Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews?
King of the Jews, right? Go ahead.
For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him.
Jump down to verse 4, though.
And when he had gathered all the chief priests, scribes, and scribes of the people together,
right? Because Herod had gathered all these people together, right, for a reason. Go ahead.
He demanded of them where Christ should be born.
Where can I find this individual? Go ahead.
And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet.
It's already written in the scriptures. Go ahead.
But thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
So they give their opinion. They read scriptures to identify a point where Jesus was going to be born. But jump down to verse 7. Or keep on to verse 7, rather.
Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men.
Okay, now you already see what's going on, right? Now when he had privily called the wise more privately, go ahead.
Inquired of them diligently that time the star appeared.
What time did he show up? Go ahead.
And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go, search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
That I may come and worship him also. Now, question. Was King Herod really trying to worship Jesus?
Yeah.
A baby at the time? No. He had a what? Ulterior motive. His intentions were not pure. Let's verify this because the angels know everything, right? God sees everything. Let's see what the angel does in verse 12. Go ahead.
And being warned of God in a dream,
right,
that they should.
Talking about Joseph. Joseph was being warned of God in a dream. Go ahead.
In a dream that they should not return to Herod, they depart into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream.
I'm sorry, verse 12 is speaking about the wise men, that they were warned of the wise men, but verse 13 is speaking about Joseph. Just want to clarify. Hit verse 13 from the top.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
So all things are naked and open unto him that sees everything, right? Because his eyes see it all. So they're even seeing what this man has concealed in his thoughts. You know what that's called when you have, how can I say, a wicked ambition that you conceal is called dissimulation in the book. So the angel said, no, don't go this way because he already has a different plan. That's not in line with what God's plan is. So let's keep it moving. But it also has to fulfill scripture, right? Because he has to be called out of Egypt, right? So he's just showing that he will use it to still fulfill his plan. That's another breakdown. But let's take a quick look. In fact, let's do that. Let's go to 2 Samuel 16. Because even the fact that, 2 Samuel 16, even the fact that they went to Bethlehem, that had to fulfill prophecy, right? So the king had to put forth a decree for everyone to be taxed and whatnot. So they had to show up to Bethlehem to fulfill prophecy. So the Lord will still use, how can I say, the kings of the earth to fulfill an ulterior motive that he has. That this is the difference though. All of God's ulterior motives are pure. That's the big difference. So let's take a quick look at some of God's ulterior motives. First, I said 2 Samuel 16?
Yep.
I meant 1 Samuel 16. My apologies. 1 Samuel 16. 1 Samuel 16. So I'm showing how men are operating, but I'm going to show how God is going to use this tool also. 1 Samuel 16. And pick up that verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul?
Because right now Saul's rejected. Go ahead.
Seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel.
Right, go ahead.
Fill thy horn with oil and go.
Uh-huh.
I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons.
So he said, I've already provided me a king that comes from the Bethlehemite. There's a reason why we just spoke about Jesus being the governor that's going to come out of Bethlehem. But right now, it's speaking about David right here. But go ahead.
And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it,
if Saul hears, I'm going to go appoint another king. Go ahead.
He will kill me.
He gonna kill me. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, take an heifer with thee and say.
So you know he didn't say, oh no, don't worry about it. He said, no, operate with wisdom. Take a heifer with you, like you're going to do a sacrifice. I'm getting ready to show you how you're going to go do, seem as if you're doing one thing, but you're really doing a big thing for God. Go ahead.
I am come to sacrifice to the Lord.
So you say, just come and say you're doing a sacrifice for the Lord. Go ahead.
And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt anoint him unto me, him whom I name unto thee.
So you want the one that I named to you, you want to anoint him. Go ahead.
And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, comest thou peacefully?
So he's showing up, everyone's like, yo, you coming peacefully? Because I can read where Samuel will pray to the Lord, or call supplication to the Lord, and he will answer in lightning and thunder. So they all, in certain times, you can read where all Israel feared the Lord and Samuel greatly. But jump down to verse 11, because Jesse passed, through his sons, and he's like, no, not it. And then Samuel's like, hold up, something's not right here. Hit verse 11.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children?
Are all your boys here? Go ahead.
And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep.
Right, go ahead.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. Right, because we ain't going to get comfortable till we handle the Lord's business first. But jump, that's in 11? Yes. Okay, jump to, no, keep going, read through 13. Go ahead. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. Remember when we said that I broke down that goodly earlier? Now we're seeing it again, goodly to look to. Go ahead. It's not saying behavior right here. Go ahead. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. This is the one I'm talking about. Go ahead. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from the day forward. Right, from that day forward, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. Go ahead. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. Right. Hit verse 14. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and the evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. Right, and then from that day forward, David was given another spirit, but now an evil spirit is now tormenting Saul. But it just so happened that David knew how to play an instrument beautifully. I think it was the harp, if I'm not mistaken. So then he is now, they're saying, like, what can we do about Saul who's being troubled by this evil spirit? Let's have someone that can play beautifully, that can help calm down the evil spirit on him. So this one that he anointed to be king, he now has him in the king's quarters, seeing how a king of Israel is supposed to operate as far as, governing people, situations, circumstances, and resources. So he's just there as a fly on the wall playing music, but he's really understanding battle tactics and how a king reigns over the people. Y'all see that? Because it's now training David, and all he's doing was playing music. But the Lord has, just like he had Moses in the house of Pharaoh, he now has David in the house of Saul. Y'all see that? Yeah. So much so that, remember, Saul thought the king was going to go to his son Jonathan. But he did not realize that when he wanted to usurp David by giving, a crazy daughter of his to David, he didn't realize he just made David his son-in-law. And by doing that, the kingdom still went to the son of Saul, but the son-in-law. And he didn't realize that's how it traversed between the tribe of Benjamin to the tribe of Judah, which now gave credence how the Lord was going to show up. Because the kingdom is going to be given to the son of David, which is eventually pointing to Jesus. Y'all see that? Okay, it's a little deep. We walking through. Let's go to 1 Kings 22. 1 Kings 22. Let's show another ulterior motive that the Lord can use on the wicked.
1 Kings 22. Because he turned around and made Saul think, oh, they just doing a sacrifice. Ain't nothing to see here. Meanwhile, the Lord's work is still getting done. 1 Kings 22, let's think about verse 4. Because now we have, this is sometime later, the nation of Israel has been split, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. You have King Ahab, who, just rebelled against the Lord, him and his wicked wife Jezebel from the Zidonians. But let's pick it up at verse 4. Let's go ahead and read.
And he said unto Jehoshaphat, Wilt thou go with me to battle in Ramoth Gilead?
Right, now Jehoshaphat, he was actually a decent king over Judah. But he was a little naive, and he's over here saying, well, in other words, if someone that's doing wicked, why would you go and be in league with them? But right here, he's being asked, are you going to go battle with me? Unto Ramoth Gilead? Go ahead.
And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people,
right?
My horses as thy horses.
But this is the thing. You don't want to be in affinity with someone that's wicked like that, but go ahead.
And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today.
He at least said, hey, let's at least ask God about the situation. Go ahead.
Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, Shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear?
Right.
And they said, Go up,
right,
for the Lord shall deliver it unto the hand of the king.
Keep going.
And Jehoshaphat said,
so they told him what he wanted to hear, right? Because that's what he wanted to do in the first place.
Right.
So he was forced to go ask counsel of the Lord. But we'll see if these individuals that came, he got counsel from, let's see if they were from the Lord in the first place. Keep going.
And Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides that we might inquire of him?
Right. In other words, that's all of them. Because the same way Jesse, had left out David, he's always saying, I think y'all might have left somebody out. The same way you saw in 1 Kings Adonijah, he was leaving what? The real service of the Lord out of the equation. But he's over here, he's asking, hey, isn't there at least one more that you did not include in this man that you know can handle this business? Go ahead.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man.
Because they always know, there is one, but go ahead.
Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord.
Right, and that's the same thing. On the job site, everyone's going to church on Sunday, everyone's doing the Christmas, the Easter, the going to heaven talk, and they all act like they're religious, but they all know that there's someone on the job who has extra insight and understanding. In many cases, that's you. Especially because you've been taught right after Israel of God. But a lot of times they don't want to inquire you because, well, let's see why they don't want to inquire. Finish that verse up.
But I hate him.
Oh, that's why. It's enmity. It's a battle. They really don't want to acknowledge that you split the truth, because if you acknowledge that what you put on the table is the truth, they have to acknowledge that they are living a lie. Yes. So it's not you that they battle against. They battle against the spirit that you contain that was given by the Holy Ghost. So don't fret. Go ahead.
For he doth not prophesy good concerning me.
Right. He's not prophesying good concerning me, but go ahead.
But evil.
But evil. Go ahead.
And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so.
What verse you at?
I'm at 9.
Go, jump down to verse 15. Jump down to verse 15.
So he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle?
Because they're asking Micaiah, which was a real prophet of the Lord, right? Go ahead.
Or shall we forbear? And he answered him, Go and prosper.
Go and prosper? He's being sarcastic here. He's saying, go and prosper. That's what you want to hear anyways, right? Go ahead.
For the Lord shall deliver it unto the hand of the king.
Right, go ahead.
And the king said unto him.
So he already knows something ain't right, because he's agreeing with what his ambitions are. Go ahead.
How many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing but that which is true, right, in the name of the Lord?
Right. He knew something was wrong because he was agreeing with his wicked objectives. Go ahead.
And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills.
Now he's going to tell the truth. What I really saw is all Israel scattered upon the hills. This is talking about that they were killed. Go ahead.
As sheep that have not a shepherd.
Right, right. They're scattered because their shepherd or their ruler or their king is not there. But go ahead.
And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace.
Right, everyone go to your house in peace, because this individual has been slain. Talking about the king. Go ahead.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil. And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord.
So now, he's saying, did I tell you that he was going to prophesy against me? But in the meanwhile, he's like, now hear what the Lord really got to say. In other words, he's not shutting up now. Go ahead.
I saw the Lord sitting on his throne.
Y'all sit on your thrones. I see the Lord sitting upon his throne. Go ahead.
And all the hosts of heaven standing by him.
And all the hosts of heaven standing by him. Go ahead.
And on his right hand and on his left.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
So now he's asking, the Lord's asking the angels, who here is going to persuade Ahab to go and die at Ramoth Gilead? Because I have motives also, he's showing. Go ahead.
And one said on this manner.
One said, I can do it this way. Go ahead.
And another said on that manner.
Another said, I can do it that way. Go ahead.
And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said,
oh, but now here comes forth a spirit or an angel and said, what does this individual have to say?
I will persuade him.
I will persuade him. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto him, wherewith?
How are you going to do it? Go ahead.
And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
I'm going to be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. Go ahead.
And he said, thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so.
Because the Lord knew Ahab's mindset. He said, yes, that plan is going to succeed. Go ahead.
Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets.
Right, so which took some ambition or some boldness to say, all these prophets right here that disagree with you, that's the spirit that they got. They got a lying spirit put in them. That spirit came from the Lord, though. Go ahead. Because the ulterior motive, he's letting him know what the Lord's ulterior motive is. It's to get Ahab killed. So even though you let them know what the ultimate goal is concerning this individual, when they want to do what they want to do, you let them continue to do it and just wipe until the results pan out. Then you're going to see who was really rude, or who was right, who was wrong, who was on the right side of God, who stepped beyond their boundaries. Go ahead.
And the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee.
Go ahead.
Zedekiah, the son of...
That was 23?
Yes.
Perfect. Because anyways, he ends up dying, even though he tried to change it, because he tried to outsmart God, right? He tried to change his outfit to make it seem like, he said, Jehoshaphat, you keep wearing your king clothes, I'm going to wear something different. Then they started chasing after, the Syrians started chasing after Jehoshaphat. It's the king of Israel. Listen, no, it's king of Judah. That's not him. And then it said, peradventure, someone just shot a bow, peradventure, and it ended up killing Ahab. But that peradventure means by chance. But it wasn't chance. The angels got him where that arrow went and it still killed him, because the God's prophets cannot be liars, especially when they put on the stage like this. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. Let's go. I have 3 more spots. Let's go to 1 Kings 19. And like I said, I'm showing these situations because I can show people, but ultimately the end game is keep showing God is running the whole board. He's the one playing chess. 1 Kings 19. That's why you don't worry about, like I broke down the relationships piece, right? Well, back when we saw Samson and Delilah, Samson should have kind of thought, I wonder what's really going on. She's asking all these questions about where my strength comes from. Why are you so concerned with it? How come every time I give you an answer, the Philistines keep on showing up on me? Because in that relationship, her motives weren't pure. The Pharisees over here asking Jesus all these questions because they were really tempting him. They were trying to get him to say something against Caesar. Because they said, we have no king but Caesar. But the Lord knew that's all they're going, this one was going to indulge you in the very act. He already knows what their motives is. He just right the ground and show them that they don't even know the law. You're going to bring one half of the parties, but the other party just so happens to get away. Let's go ahead and pick it up, 1 Kings 19 and verse 15. So you also had the Pharisees that were politicking with Pilate so hard that Pilate had nothing to do with it. He was like, what am I worried about? Jesus, this is the Jews and y'all go handle this. But they wanted this to come by the hands of Caesar or by the hands of the Romans. But it doesn't matter. The Lord still, got that whole situation anyways. 1 Kings 19, verse 15. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto him, Go, return on thy way to the wilderness of Damascus. And when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king
Right.
over Syria.
Right. In other words, the Lord's giving instruction to Elijah to anoint this person to be king over this person to be king over that. That's why I'm not so concerned about voting Democrat or Republican, because the Lord's the one that anoints and picks the kings and the rulers of the earth, right? So if I did vote, I just write down Jesus Christ, ruler of Israel. That's all I would do. And then I'll wear that I vote sticker. I vote for the real king, right? Because that's going to be the real king of Israel anyways. And in fact, King of Kings and Lord of Lords will be king over all the earth. His domain shall be from sea even to sea. So why would I give interim rulership to someone else who's not the ultimate legitimate king in the first place?
Right.
Go ahead.
And
where am I? I don't even know.
Verse 16.
Verse 16, go ahead.
And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel.
Right, so you're going to anoint Jehu to be king. He was one of the captains of Ahab. I want him to be the king over Israel. Go ahead.
And Elisha, the son of Shaphat, of Belial, shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy room.
And he's going to take your place and be the prophet in your space, on your stead. That's what it means by in your room. That's in the 16? Keep going ahead to 17.
And it shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay. And him that escapeth from the sword Jehu shall Elisha slay.
In other words, he's pronouncing judgment over the house of Ahab, but he's using not just one individual to take it down, he's using these three that you see. You see Elisha, you see Jehu, you see the king of the Syrians, Hazael. But let's jump to 2 Kings chapter 10. Let's see one of the ways where he pronounced judgment over them. But see, when Jehu was anointed, right, he was anointed to take care of the Lord's business. Let's see one of the ways and techniques that he took care of the Lord's business. 2 Kings chapter 10, and we got one spot after this. And I see y'all didn't nobody go to sleep this time. That's all. 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 15. When you get there, go ahead and read 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 15. Y'all get some out of this? Yeah. Praise God. Go ahead.
And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, If thine heart is thy heart right.
Jehonadab is meeting up with Jehu, who has now been anointed king, right? In other words, he's literally in the middle taking care of the Lord's business. Go ahead.
Is thine heart right?
Is your heart what?
Right. Is my heart with thy heart?
In other words, that's why you have to make sure that you're not unequally yoked. Is your heart the same as mine? Is your heart right? Go ahead.
And Jehonadab answered, Is it? It is.
It is. Go ahead.
Give it be.
If it be,
If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand. And he took him up to him into the chariot.
Because right now Jehu's in the chariot. So Janez, give me your hand. He like, come on up. So he brings him up just like that, right? Come up in my chariot. Go ahead.
And he said, Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord.
Right, and we was breaking down zeal earlier, but we said it has to do with now. He said, come with me and see my zeal for the Lord. Keep going.
So they made him ride in his chariot.
Go ahead and hit verse 17. Keep going.
And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him according to the saying of the Lord, which he spake to Elijah.
Right, because it was already foretold to Elijah. It's just not being fulfilled by Jehu. Go ahead.
And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them.
Listen to this carefully. Now Jehu was operating in wisdom. He gathered together all the what? He says all the people. Go ahead.
Ahab, serve Baal a little.
And he said, Ahab served Baal a little bit, but go ahead.
But Jehu shall serve him much.
Oh, but he's saying Jehu, talking about himself, is going to serve Baal much. What you mean serve Baal? No. We understand that guy ain't dealing with no paganism. Right. But maybe there's an ulterior motive that God is using through him to take care of his business. Now go ahead and hit verse 19.
Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal.
So call to me all the prophets of Baal. In other words, it's time now. Go ahead.
All his servants.
All his servants. All Baal servants. Go ahead.
And all his priests.
All the priests of Baal. Go ahead.
Let none be wanting.
You better not be on the outside of this function. Go ahead.
For I have a great sacrifice to do Baal.
A great sacrifice to do to Baal. Go ahead.
Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety.
Oh, Jehu did this in subtlety. In other words, he said, everybody better come to this big sacrifice for Baal. But if you don't come to sacrifice for Baal, you're gonna die. Go ahead.
To the intent that he might
destroy. To what?
To the intent.
To the intent. The intention was to get everyone back with the Lord God of Israel. But you have to do something in order to get them back there. Go ahead.
To the intent that he might destroy the worshipers of Baal.
He is trying to destroy the what?
The worshipers of Baal.
The worshipers of. So there's something wrong with worship if a lot of destruction is coming your way. I wish the children of Israel recognize when the curse is upon them. But keep going.
And Jehu said, proclaim a solemn assembly
Proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. Go ahead.
And they proclaimed it.
They proclaimed it. Go ahead.
And Jehu sent through all Israel, and all the worshipers of Baal came. So that there was not a man left that came not. And they came to the house of Baal. And the house of Baal was full from one end to another.
It was packed from one end of the house to the other. All these worshipers of Baal, they came to this party. Right? Go ahead.
And he said unto him that was over the vestry, but bring forth vestments.
Right. Over the vestry, in other words, the one that's over the outfits, the uniforms, that they wear. He said, bring forth vestments. In other words, outfits. Go ahead.
For all the worshipers of Baal.
For all the worshipers of Baal. Just like we saw when Tamar wore the outfit that represented her virginity, you have the worshipers of Baal have the outfit representing that they are a worshiper of Baal. In other words, this will help you to identify them. Go ahead.
And he brought them forth vestments.
Go ahead.
And Jehu went, and Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshipers of Baal, search and look for that there be here with you none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshipers of Baal only.
Right, they said, hey, if y'all see anyone that's worshiping the real God, get them out of here. Get them out of here. We only want worshipers of Baal up in here. They're like, yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
And when they went to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings.
Right, and now they're offering sacrifices. So they're in the middle of worshiping Baal. Go ahead.
Jehu appointed 80 men without, and said, if any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape, he that letteth him go, his life shall be for the life of him. Right, so he already appointed 80 individuals to go and kill everyone in there that's a worshiper of Baal by way of an ulterior motive. Go ahead. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of offering of the burnt offerings, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captains, go in and slay them. Let none come forth. Right. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. Go ahead. And the guard and the captains cast them out. Right. Go ahead. Went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal. So they burned them. Right. They break down the images. They burn them. Go ahead. And they break down the image of Baal and break down the house of Baal. Right. You know how many times I have thought in my mind, I would love to be one of the first ones to chop down that Christmas tree that I see in the mall, in the park. I would just love to give me a good chainsaw. I'll be first at it. Let me at it. Take it down. That's laid to the rope. Go ahead. And made it a drop house. Right. To this day. Right. I'll find creative ways. I'll light it on, put gasoline on it, burn it up, get rid of it. All these false images. Go ahead. And thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel, but he didn't tell them what he was ultimately doing, did he? He said, I'm going to use it by way of an ulterior one, because it was anointed by the prophet Elisha, sent one of the ones that sat in front of Elisha to go anoint him. But in other words, the Spirit of God still came upon him to operate with wisdom. Go ahead. Howbeit, from the sins of Actually, jump down to verse 30. I want verse 30 real quick, because the Lord has something to say to Jehu for how he carried himself.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes.
You have done well in executing that which is right in my eyes. Go ahead. This is Jesus here. Go ahead.
And has done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart.
You have done to Ahab's house just what I wanted you to do. Go ahead.
Thy children of the fourth generation shall sit on the throne of Israel.
Which is very interesting because there was Judah, or what they say, the southern kingdom, and then there was the northern kingdom, which was Ephraim or Israel. Most of those who inherit the kingdom or the northern tribe, it came by way of assassination, or it was someone's captain or servant. Only on the kings of Judah side was it always the sons of the Atzaliah. But on this side, you had a brief stint where it was always the sons of Jehu for 4 generations after Jehu. After that, it went back to the mayhem of everyone fighting over the throne. But he has said, your sons of the 4th generation are going to get this throne because you have done well in executing that was right in my eyes. But that's a huge testimony for him. But let's go ahead and jump to the last spot in Romans 12. Romans 12. Romans 12, we're going to pick this up at verse 5. Romans 12 and verse 5. When you get there, go ahead and read. I'm turning to. Go ahead.
So we bring many are one body in Christ.
Being
many.
We being many are one body in Christ. Go ahead.
And every one members one of another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith.
We all have different gifts. Go ahead.
Our ministry, let us wait on our ministry.
Right, our servitude. Let's figure out how we going to serve the body of Christ. Go ahead.
He that teacheth on teaching,
or
he that exhorteth on exhortation.
Right, exhorting, you lifting somebody else up. You're exhorting one another. Go ahead.
He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity.
Simplicity, go ahead.
He that ruleth,
someone that's in rulership, go ahead.
With diligence.
Be diligent in your rulership, go ahead.
He that showeth mercy,
so if you're going to show some mercy, give someone a break, go ahead.
With cheerfulness.
So in other words, you ain't, I guess. No, you're going with cheerfulness. Go ahead.
Let love be without dissimulation.
Let love be without dissimulation. In other words, let that thing be pure. Let it not be with a wicked mindset. Go ahead.
Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good.
Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. And we have walked down pure intentions and ulterior motives. And some of the takeaways that we have taken away is that sometimes we have to hold back and observe to get information. Because behavior continues to reveal their intentions. Taking hearsay and gossip as truth can mess you up, especially when there's no concrete proof. Now, zeal is pure, but knowledge is key. If you see something or you hear something, you have to trust but verify, but the thing is you don't want to jump to conclusions. But then at the end of the day, when you don't have any idea, don't worry, the angels know. Pray to the Father of the spirits. And always beware that those included and excluded will speak volumes. But in the meantime, you just focus on giving the Lord his praise because time will tell. In the meantime, all you have to do is stay under the Lord's protection. I thank you for your time.